One of the things we're seeing is clients' appetites being larger than ever before to explore. And where in the past it was seen as a nascent channel with limited reach, I think you're seeing a lot more inventory there available to them to buy. I think their willingness to test things where they're unsure of outcomes has been increased more than ever before. And we're really talking about kind of the next step, the digital revolution maybe 7 years ago, and people were, early movers in that space and they had an advantage, and we're really thinking about the space in a similar way. There's an opportunity to get in early, test things, build operational muscle between teams that maybe haven't worked together as closely before, and we really see that as an opportunity this year to do a lot the work.
So what do you mean in particular? Ad
muscle.
serving or new kinds of data, or what's the sauce that's being added to the mix?
You have teams where historically broadcast teams and national teams have bought broadcast, and you have teams that maybe are more precision or audience driven that buy programmatic. And you're seeing a lot of work between those teams now to think about the way we're buying connected TV inventory, if you will, or OTT. And you have a broadcast team that might be negotiating as part of an upfront, and then you have an activation team who's actually activating within a quarter against a specific audience, buying that inventory in quarter. And so those are teams that historically maybe don't work as closely together on an ongoing basis outside of the upfront, and we're seeing that that's an opportunity to bring those teams closer together and working more closely with the client to learn these new channels and understand that. And that goes as well to analytics and measurement, like how are we measuring them? What's the contribution when compared to historically traditional channels like linear TV?
So what would your advice be to these direct-to-consumer companies that are starting to enter TV? Traditionally they got their start in digital, and there's a big move now. What would you advise them, and where do you see that direct-to-consumer as a sort of a media player in premium television advertising?
I think there's an opportunity for them to enter the space through these new channels that maybe didn't exist before from a linear broadcast perspective, because a lot of inventory was sold in the upfront and there was limited inventory available on an ongoing basis. That's changing with these new channels and inventory that's available through connected TV or FEP inventory, and they have an opportunity to buy that in a way that maybe is more benefits their business model and works with the way that their business is set up to run with retail quarters, the seasonality, the things that make sense for them. And so they don't have to make a commitment a year in advance. They can do it when it makes sense for their business.
And finally, how do you see the TV upfront and the way that TV is bought, premium, and sort of how that might change this year?
I think there's an opportunity for us to get smarter about the way we partner with our broadcast partners. I think historically we've gone in and we say we want this CPM and this flexibility and this is what the programming and the day parts we want to buy. I think there's an opportunity for us to say, hey, we want to buy this from an upfront perspective, but here's all the other inventory that you manage that we also want to think about buying, so that we can collectively leverage dollars and get things that are valuable for our brands and our clients that allows them the flexibility to test these new channels.
Cool. And finally, if you had one wish to do that'll make your job easier in terms of a pain point, if you will, what would that be that you'd like to have solved?
I think TV attribution is one of the big next steps for our industry. Being able to understand a contribution of a specific channel and its cost and associated to an outcome the brands care about is, I think, the next big opportunity for us, because then we'll understand investment in media mix across those different video channels.